Hi everyone, my name is Sammy, and I hope you're doing bad. That's right, I'm mean now. So I need to cut to the chase on this one. The movie I want to introduce you to today is just magical. Magically bad, don't get it twisted up, but magical nonetheless. What if I told you that there's a universe out there where Harper Finkle is the daughter of a capitalistic Brad Majors Santa Claus, and she falls in love with Ned Bigby, but she's actually betrothed to Jack Frost's son who looks like a sim. Does that movie even sound real? No? Well, let me all make you feel real stupid right about now. Bam! Now, I'm about to change the trajectory of your life forever, and you're gonna be eternally grateful. This movie is an abomination, and it shouldn't exist, and yet here it is for our viewing pleasure. Free on YouTube. I do need to warn you, I have something to say on almost every scene, so with that being said, let's dive on in, shall we? We open with what you will come to know and love as the time-telling device for the specific narrative of Santa. Not clear whether this Santa is the Santa that appears in the movie or not. It very well could be, but some sort of ambivalent Santa is flipping through a book that starts with "Once Upon a Time." Buckle up. We see this beautiful shot of a snowy castle with the title overlay. You know what? I'm just gonna let this play out and you can see the inside of this castle for yourself. Love to see that scuffed up white wall and slide from dirty shoes skidding across as if a magic eraser isn't $2 and the Target isn't right down the street. Next, we get to see the ill-fitting elf costume, and these wonderfully terrible moving pictures of presumably the Claus family and our girl Jennifer Stone. These pictures really do get me. Every time. And I've seen this movie about 155 times since discovering it last year. But there's something special about these pictures, and you just know that the director had a specific vision in mind for these pictures, and it didn't turn out like the way he had intended. So in my opinion, these shots probably should have been scrapped. Sue me. And it's when I saw this room for the first time that I realized what sort of magical goo I had just stepped in. This is just such a sad excuse for a security room for this lavish castle. It looks like the room of a 13-year-old gamer kid on Christmas Eve, but he doesn't want to spend time with his family because they're all being beta nerds this year. God. And then there's this horrid excuse for a cup of hot chocolate. This cup gives me nightmares because why did they make it look so messy? There are so many ways to make a hot chocolate look magical and delicious and otherworldly, and I think that's what this castle is missing, and that's gonna become even more apparent once you see the presumed princess bedroom for Santa Claus's daughter. This is gonna drive you nuts, and if it doesn't, your brain isn't working right. But before we get into that, I'm not over this hot chocolate. It is so bad. It's the worst looking hot chocolate in a movie, I think, ever. Why didn't they take a lesson from Judy and the Santa Claus and take 1200 years to make the perfect recipe? I take hot chocolate very seriously. I think I've made my peace with it. Moving on. I really just can't get over how much the inside of this castle looks like the inside of my friends' houses who lived in gated communities. Like, this is insane. And I especially love the random 2-yard sheet of Christmas fabric they got from Joann's right before they shot this and they threw on Cassie, Jennifer Stone's character in the film. I just don't understand what murder that her and Devin Werkheiser and Barry Botswick all witnessed to have to be put in this horrible film. And seriously guys, you haven't even seen the worst of it yet. So I guess before I keep diving into this meaty piece of bad movie history, I'll explain a little bit of the haps. So this is Cassie, as I said, the daughter of Santa Claus, and she is very clearly not amazed or amused by any of this North Pole business. She couldn't care less. And her elf assistant, Pep, is reading off her busy schedule for the day, except this dialogue is so weird.
Early morning wake up, check. Breakfast on deck.
You have a meeting with Cupcake in the mailroom. The boss wants you to know every facet of the business, bottom to top.
He gets over 1 million letters a year. Did you know that?
Fascinating. Just so slow and off kilter, just ooh. And this scene where she's taking pictures with the kid elves of the future or whatever, they clearly meant to have like a lot of kids there, taking pictures with Cassie, being obnoxious, you know, as kids do. But what's going on here? They could only get 3 parents to sign the permission slips? And then this photo that Cassie signs, is she a celebrity, a princess, an heiress? What is the daughter of Santa Claus considered? I think they might say at once that she's a princess. So is Santa a king? Of what realm? What land? Plane of existence? I'm so confused and clearly not caught up with the Santa lore. And speaking of the big man himself,
here we go.
well, I guess in this one they made Santa go on a diet because of course they did. Here he is walking down the hallway, but taking pauses every few steps to get extreme close-ups of the Five Below Christmas decor they decided to throw on his suit to make it more festive. Didn't need those close-ups, should have just thrown him in a red Santa suit. I don't need a capitalist Santa. Not in this climate. I also hate the smug little grin they made him do. It just irks me just right. I also seriously just hate them making this Santa super business savvy.
Video game department needs to go into overtime again?
No, the more we pay in overtime, the less we have in our quarterly earnings. No go.
The union isn't gonna like that.
So what's new? Set up a lunch with the union rep. What's his name? Pickles?
Sparkle, sir. Pickles is head of accounting.
Yeah, whatever.
Because they make him an asshole. That's like the one common characteristic of all Santa media throughout history, is that he is a jolly old man. The character of him being a dick in this isn't even fleshed out all the way, because he still is a caring father, but seeing Santa be a dick to his elf employees and nice to his daughter doesn't really make me like Santa.
They don't want some Santa girl.
She said the name! She said. Okay, so here we have Cassie receive an acceptance letter from a university in the States that she applied for. Well, I guess it doesn't really explicitly say it's in the States. She just keeps saying it's in the real world. So this could be anywhere, but you get my point. Also, it is very clear to me that the only makeup artist they had on set was someone who knew how to glue those prosthetic elf ears on, as we see with the chapped lip, lovely Cassie, and the one foam applicator swipe of green shadow on Pep's eyelid. Here it is, you guys. I'm just gonna let you witness this scene in all its glory. Prepare yourselves. You're not ready. How do you feel after that? Do you need a glass of water? Do you need to go lie down? Here's a hair tie if you need to go throw up. No thanks. I will say this line is very funny and does get a chuckle out of me every time.
Mr. Claus.
I'm gonna walk away from you now, but it's only because I don't like you or what you have to say.
But I'm gonna chalk that one up to Barry Botswick just being funny. So I'm not gonna give the movie any props. Alright, so now Cassie is confessing to her dad about applying and getting into a college in the real world. And her dad is rightfully shocked because she's never once shared an interest about going off to college, which I suspect he would have been supportive of, because as we soon find out, she's actually betrothed to Jack Frost's son since birth. I know, you're just gonna have to hold my hand as we keep chugging. We can't stop now. God, I feel like I'm in college again. Oh, this is so gross. But Santa does let her go off to college for 1 semester anyway, to let her get a taste of freedom before spending a life she doesn't want to live simply just because she was born into it. I don't get it either. Why can't she go for the full 4 years and just get married afterwards? Santa doesn't seem that old, and he's literally on a diet to lose weight. So it seems like he can keep this Santa gig up for a couple more years. You know, for his daughter to get an education, but what do I know? And again, we get weirder and weirder Santa lore. We find out it's a family business, and their children have to be betrothed to keep it, what? Royal? No, because Santa himself said that his parents were the owners of the only flying reindeer farm, and he married Kris Kringle's daughter. So in that case, wouldn't Jack Frost's son be the next Santa? Since technically Cassie's mom was the direct descendant from the Kris Kringle bloodline. Or is it just whoever in the partnership wants to do it, and then they become Santa? Or are all of those antiquated rules being abolished because of Cassie, the rightful heir to the Claus throne? Oh my god, I'm confused. Again, more proof of this so-called castle just being my rich friend's house that I spent all my time at in grammar school. Oh boy, and here we have a lovely try-on montage. We see Cassie use her magic little nose wiggle to change clothes. And can I just say, this is the most 2017 clothing montage I've ever seen. literally, I can tell this was filmed in the fall of 2017 because that was my first year of college. And that is quite literally exactly how I dressed. And I'm not even a little bit joking. Oh boy, further proof of the makeup artist not knowing a damn thing. I know Jack Frost is the villain, but we're just gonna pretend like this isn't scarier than the Babadook.
Rain on me, rain, rain, rain on me.
And here we have the lamp that everyone's aunt had in the early 2000s, sitting right on capitalist Santa's desk. And here is that lovely little time-telling device that was introduced at the beginning for no reason at all. I can tell it's moving day on account of the fact that she's moving in. But I do love this scene of Santa going up to these men that look like they need to take several showers and knowing immediately that they're all on the naughty list. I did like that little touch. It's the little things. However, I did hate the shots to follow, with the elves carrying Cassie's bags down the hallway. It needed to be way grander. They needed to have way more elves, way more bags, and more differentiation between the elves and the college students. Because right now, it just seems like they all go to the same university and these guys are just in the acapella and it's the week before finals and they want to spread the holiday cheer.
You're a princess.
Okay, noted. She is a princess. Unless... No, does he mean that literally? No, I'm gonna take his word for it. She's a princess. And he says he wants her to act like a normal college student, then proceeds to hand her $10,000 and disappears into thin air right in front of one of her peers. Color me confused. Also, now we get introduced to one of our love interests, this NPC man, and Cassie introduces herself as Cassie Claus for some reason instead of just saying her first name or making up a different last name or I don't know, anything else. But it's not a problem at all, because as we'll soon find out, JR is the son of Jack Frost. So he is the one betrothed to her. So this is all just an elaborate ruse to keep a watchful eye on her, taking all of the blame away from JR so he doesn't hold any threatening or villainy qualities throughout the film, you know, other than deceiving Cassie. So I don't know, his character is just weird, you guys. But here we are introduced to the other love interest of the film, Devin Werkheiser. Or as you better know him, Bigby. Here his name is Sam, which I love, and his haircut is horrible, which I hate. And Cassie, since she has the Claus gene, she's naturally so giving, she decides that she's gonna pay for all of Sam's books for his classes. Which, for those who don't know, is cuckoo bananas crazy expensive. She literally just dropped $500 on these books for someone she literally doesn't know. God, I can't get over how much Jack Frost Jr. just looks like a thawed out ice cube. So I guess just a big old puddle of water. And I know they shot this in a legit dorm, but really? Is this the best lighting we could have gotten? Methinks no. You know what? I'll give credit where credit's due. Wait, actually, will I? Sure, why not? I liked this scene of Cassie being clueless on how to make friends, so she wants to buy everyone a hot chocolate. I thought it was a funny touch to show how she's out of touch, but hopefully they make better hot chocolates than the one we saw at the beginning of the movie. And here's where the screenwriter remembered the comedy rule of threes, with Cassie shocking this guy by magic for the second time. Can you guess what's gonna happen in the next couple scenes? Also, yet another scene where I can tell this was shot in the fall of 2017, because my girl is sporting an extra dry liquid lip that she probably applied 4 hours ago. I must warn you, the next thing you see might be shocking, as if the rest of the movie wasn't shocking enough. We get the grossest display of sweet eating ever shown on the screen ever, as Cassie takes a huge old gulp out of that frosting. Not even taking a bite of the cupcake with it. I feel like it goes without saying, but this movie is just a perfect mix of great and horrible. And this scene is a great example of that. Or actually, you know what? The two love interest performances are a great example of that.
Only not nice if I'm saying I don't like weird, but I happen to think there's a significant lack of weird in the world, especially on this campus. I'm a fan.
In case you haven't noticed, I'm weird. I'm a weirdo.
Because Sam is great. Great acting, really believable performance, and JR?
What's up? So Cassie, there's an amazing party tonight, and, well, I need a date.
I can't say the same. And I don't want to be mean, but I mean, you can put two and two together. Get ready for this house party scene. It's a lot. But I'll wrap it up for you a bit. There's a lot of gossip of JR being super rich and important that this annoying ass group of people is telling to Cassie. And JR comes and gives her a mixed drink, although that was not made explicitly clear that it had alcohol in it. So yeah, what the F, JR? But after taking a sip, of course Cassie spits it out because she's never had a sip of alcohol before and runs out of the party embarrassed, which like, babes, he tried to drug you, it's not your fault. You didn't know. Because like, he knows her actual identity and would know that she's never left the North Pole before, right? So he would know that she's never tried alcohol before, right? So yeah, it's messed up that he didn't tell her that it had alcohol in it. Safe drinking 101. But here Devin Orkeiser comes to save the day with his acting choices.
What are you doing here?
I'm stalking you. No, I'm just kidding. It's a shortcut from the library, and I heard the music. I thought I'd stand outside the party sad. Never mind. What's going on with you? Are you okay?
Do you know what vodka is?
Yes, I think I've heard of it.
Yeah, okay, so you know it tastes nasty, right?
Sure.
I think the nuances he decides to make are just really believable, and I just really like him as an actor, okay? It's not because I had a big crush on him as Ned Bigby. But like any scene where it's Jennifer Stone and Devin Werkheiser, great, I love it. But then JR comes in and adds that special little flavor that only he can, and thankfully Sam tells him off for spiking Cassie's drink. But as Sam is walking home in that horrible scoop neck relaxed fit tee, Jack Frost stops him with a harsh blue light caving into the cavernous wrinkles on his face, not doing him any favors whatsoever. And of course he's got his little cape, but he offers Sam a bunch of money to keep an eye on Cassie. And of course Sam takes the money because he needs to pay her back. But when he gives her the money, he sees that she's struggling with pre-calculus and he is a
math genius.
And here we get some expository backgrounds for both characters, but in a cute, fun way. We find out that Sam is pre-law, and that is because he was in foster care when he was younger and got help from a pro bono lawyer when he got into some trouble. And that's what he wants to do. Very sweet, very kind. And he finds out that her mom died, and she's loaded, and that her dad likes his business more than her, which is more proof that Santa ain't shit. But that's all he finds out, nothing else. Also, this lighting is good. The scene is cute, they did a good job with this. But they dive right on into that time-telling device, and this cringy-ass library scene.
This isn't it. Hello? Hello? Does anyone know where the math is?
But here's that rule of 3 that I mentioned earlier, that the screenwriter just felt like throwing in for shits and giggles. And here we get this awkward montage of Cassie bonding with JR at a pool party. And it's like, why? And here we find out that elves have a magical power for decorating, not even just Christmas decorations, because Pep's throwing these Halloween decorations up with just a wiggle her nose. And this is a little confusing. I know, this is where I say it gets a little confusing, but stay with me. Sam walks into a Halloween party wearing the lamest excuse for a costume I've ever seen, and sees Cassie with JR playing beer pong, both wearing the weirdest choices for costumes for college freshmen. Like, Cassie looks Mormon, and JR looks like he's in my middle school performance of Night at the Wax Museum. But I guess Sam sees them on the same team for beer pong and I guess thinks they're exclusive from that. Because in the next scene where she tells him that she passed her math midterm, he breaks down and he's like, I like you, but you like him. Even though she literally just told him a few scenes ago that she wanted to be friends with both of them. So like, why can't you just leave her alone? Because now you messed around and now you're gonna find out.
I don't know why I did that. I just did it. I've never been kissed before, so...
I still haven't.
Cassie spills the beans after sharing a smooch with him, and he doesn't believe her, even though her last name is Claus, her strange behavior, her sister having weird pointed ears, and her betrothal to someone else. Also, not to mention the man with blue contour and icy colored contacts is paying him to watch her for her father. And that wouldn't make the most perfect sense for someone who is Santa Claus's daughter. Like, I feel like that is the most perfect answer ever, and quite frankly the only answer that makes sense. But no, of course, this doesn't make any sense to Sam, so he runs off in a huff, thinking she's playing a big prank on him. And here we get to see Chekhov's cape come into use. Don't show me a cape in the first act if you're not gonna swoosh it in the third. But Jack Frost realizes that no one would believe her if the word got out that she was Santa Claus's daughter. So he decides to leak that. So the whole campus thinks she's crazy, and she thinks that Sam leaked that, since he was the only person that Cassie told.
That annoying little voice, she sure sounds like one to me.
Also, can we please give this girl another take? She is struggling.
Well, your sister's a freak and so are you.
But she did nail this one a little too good if you ask me. But yeah, so this is all of the propaganda and rumors that is spreading around this college campus like wildfire that everyone is making fun of Cassie and Pep for. I don't get it. Let me know if you guys get it. Like, I just don't know. It's hard to think anyone would make fun of her for those memes. Like, why did that one girl go on the brink of cancellation for what she said to Pep? But yeah, so to clear his name, Sam goes and tells Cassie about Jack Frost paying him to spy on her. But I mean, Sam doesn't know that it's Jack Frost. But yeah, Cassie doesn't believe him and she tells him that she's going to formal with JR. And that's that on that. But Pep is putting the pieces together, and she thinks she saw Jack Frost on campus. So she goes and confronts Sam and asks him about the man who's been paying him. And this confirms that it was indeed Jack Frost with the swooshy cape. And she makes him open his eyes to see life as he know it doesn't exist. Magic is real, so is Santa and elves and Jack Frost and presumably all of the other magical beings on the council in Santa Claus 3. And here we have the most awkward dance scene ever. Behold its glory. I also just want to ask, did anyone's universities have formals for the whole undergraduate program? I don't think that exists. Like, I obviously know there's Greek life formals, but it's just a confusing concept to me. And the attire certainly does not help. But here JR admits that he is the son of Jack Frost.
I forgot about that.
But first he says that his name is a nickname, and Cassie says, why would you lie about your name? Which, like, we all know that's not lying about your name, right? And then he proposes right then and there. But Sam comes in, and there's an out-of-pocket fight scene for no reason, but I did like this.
You kicked me? I don't know.
So Cassie uses her magical little nose wiggle to stop the fight and finds out that JR had nothing to do with the memes being spread around campus. That was strictly his own father.
Which, like, yeah. Did you see the memes?
So she agrees to marry him. Here's the lovely bride on her big day that they decide to have on Christmas. Like, they said it was in the Jack Frost contract, but like, why didn't he negotiate? He's Santa. But yeah, this dress is bad. Jennifer Stone is gorgeous though, but I do wish we got some real tears from her. They love using a drone shot, don't they? But in that emotional scene, we see Cassie break down to her dad saying that she really does love Sam. So Santa goes and visits Sam and says that he's been on the nice list every year. Which, can I point out, plot hole? Sam said earlier the reason he was pre-law is because he got into trouble with the law as a kid and got help from a lawyer pro bono. So wouldn't he have been on the naughty list at least that year? Unless Santa knows the reasons for why he did what he did. So maybe Santa isn't capitalist after all? Who knows? This movie is just bad. Let us relish in it. Like this. But on the way back to the North Pole, Sam is reading the contract and finds out that Jack Frost has been in breach of it when he spied on Cassie, so the contract is null and void. So they don't have to get married. But Cassie already stopped the wedding because they don't actually love each other. I love this little moral they decided to throw in at the end.
Goodness, charity, those are things of the past.
And these little scowls we get from JR and Cassie. Oh. And I think they're setting up a JR and Pep romance. Which, like, I know Pep is an elf, but she looks to be about 15, so gross. And we get this lovely little jump cut of Santa getting horny for this woman's cookies.
You could stand to put on a few pounds.
And we end the movie on a lovely little cartoon window next to a very real Cassie and Sam as Santa says his famous line, and with that, movie done. Wow, I just have no words. This movie never fails to take my breath away, and I hope it put you in the holiday spirit. I apologize if it put you in the hospital, but as the kids like to say, kissies!